It happened right now. Now is the time to get ready. What's going on now? Now, more than ever, BlackRock is talking about turning real-world assets into tokens. This is a very important time for everyone. The Federal Reserve's RRP service is now being used by only 4.1 billion people, the fewest since April 2021. Now, why is it important to use RRP? What is it? Well, it's one of the most important measures of the financial system's extra liquidity, and it's gone down by $2.5 trillion since its peak in December 2022. If we scroll down and look at the chart itself, we can see that during the last bull market, the amount of extra cash was at an all-time high. This is when the price of crypto hit its all-time high. All of the top altcoins at the time, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and BNB, were setting new records at this point in time when there was the most money flowing through them. And of course, things started to get right when the cash started falling off a cliff. This is when Bitcoin's value was at its lowest point in the last 5 years. During this time, everything went completely crazy. Right now, this is where we are. The thing that most people don't know is that quantitative tightening has officially never stopped in the United States of America. The United States of America has continued to have too much cash on hand. Things are going to change soon. Right now, market liquidity is at a very important level. At this level, magical things start to happen, like the Federal Reserve printing money because the market needs it so badly. If the Fed doesn't do this, there is a very high chance that banks will start to fail. And I know for sure that the big banks are putting a lot of pressure on the Fed right now to make this happen. Based on what I'm seeing in the markets right now, I do believe that we are about to see rate cuts that are bigger than we thought they would be. That being said, if this really does happen, the US economy will pump trillions of dollars into the world economy. And this has huge, huge effects on XRP, all of which are good effects. See, just take a look at this situation right here. The numbers are correct. Take a look at the years 2022 when liquidity is at its highest level ever. At the same time, what else was at an all-time high? You can answer that question in the comments section below. For the first time in history, gold futures go above $4,300 an ounce. This means that prices are now up over 60% since 2024. Gold is the best way to tell where the markets are going before they happen. It is not important if that is Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if that's the stock market. It doesn't matter if it's property. Gold is the best. It always goes first. If you don't already know this, today is the day you'll learn it. Bitcoin is at an all-time high. Every time gold has, the price of gold futures has been at an all-time high. The crypto market followed soon after, and sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes a couple of weeks, sometimes a month, sometimes 2 months, but it does happen. You guys need to be patient because the markets are so scared right now that something crazy is happening right now, which we'll talk about soon. Even hedge funds are scared. You can see that hedge funds are selling more stocks faster. Last week, investors sold $3 billion worth of US stocks. This was the fourth week in a row that investors sold stocks. Hedge funds lost more than $2.1 billion, which is the fourth week in a row that they have lost money. This raised their average for the 4 weeks to $2.1 billion, which is the most ever seen since records began in 2008. Oh, this is not good, people think when they see it. That looks really, really scary. But let's not forget what happened after 2008. The banks made money. It was so cheap that if you bought it, you could have made a lot of money that would have changed your life. What did we see in the world of crypto? In this flash crash, some cryptocurrencies lost 90% of their value. XRP dropped to $1.20. You should be happy if you were able to buy during that time. You hit a lifelong low point. Although the Fed is sending signals that they are about to print money, I still think that the prices we're seeing now are very good. When M2 goes up, we all know what happens. We all know what takes place. This picture shows that global M2 has been going up. Why does this happen? To be sure, you can see a clear rise in 2020. Of course, this is when the Biden government took over, and this is when they began printing during the CO era. It's official. Our M2, really took off over the last couple of years, reaching its peak around April 2022. Then there was tightening, which caused a lot of that liquidity to go away, but it's been going up around the world. This is also what has helped crypto go up from 24 to 25 in the last year. The US hasn't been adding to the quantity of M2 around the world. They haven't begun quantitative easing yet. The US hasn't changed. Europe does. China does. Australia and Canada both have. A lot of governments have started to print money, but the US hasn't done anything yet. The US also knows that as soon as they turn on this money machine, chaos will break out. Since they have the world's largest economy, they will have a huge effect. I mean that the GDP of some states in the United States is much higher than the GDP of whole other countries. What do you think will happen to the dollar bill that everyone in the crypto space uses? Also, 99% of all crypto trades are done with stable US dollar coins. When the money machine turns on, what do you think happens? The US dollar loses its value. When you trade these pairs, the value of a Bitcoin XRP totally explodes. More and more people are going to put their money into cryptocurrency. All that needs to be done is wait a few more months. Really, some people say we'll reach our peak in December of this year. Some people think we'll reach our peak in January or February 2026. How long does that last? At the longest, it could be 4, 5, or even 6 months. At the smallest, it could be just 2 months. Sign me up, please. I'm in for that. It doesn't bother me that October's red. It doesn't bother me if XRP goes back down to $1.20. Based on what I see here, you can bet that I'll do everything I can to stop that from happening. And more people need to think that way, because I know that many of you will watch this video, get scared by the markets, and make the wrong choice at the right time. You'll make the wrong choice when it's time to make money. You're going to sell and get scared. It's going to happen. And let's not even talk about the ETFs, okay? We're going to talk about A and BlackRock CK in a moment. You don't go anywhere. So if we look at the important dates, these XRP ETFs should be accepted between October 18th and 25th. Bloomberg and Polyarchit say there are 95 to 100% chances that these will be accepted between October 18th and October 25th. There's Grayscale, Bitwise, and many others. There is still a government shutdown. It could push things back even more, but at the very least, it might not happen until November. Why should I care? Why should I care? It doesn't matter if it's October 25th or November 6th. In any case, we have to wait a few months. It gets really crazy when these numbers start coming in, which happens when quantitative easing starts. These are the things that BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is talking about now. Please pay close attention, because what I'm about to say will reveal where these trillions of dollars are going for the top dogs, the guys with the smart money who know everything. Pay attention.